Although this OCUL is dragging down, this was actually a really nice trade taking us into this meeting. And on top of that, we got a couple more folks going into not just this meeting, but also class later on today. Great to see all of our students and members alike inside our live trading room, though. Lita, Lawrence, Dan, and I know Michael was with us earlier, Ryan and John, a few more of us just from before as well. So welcome on back to them, and welcome on back to all of us on our social streams. Without further ado, folks, market's actually dragging back down alongside this OCUL. So let's actually dig into that to begin. We do have our phase one class continuing today, coming up at 3:05 Eastern time. So Rich will post the link for that coming up momentarily. But yeah, I mean, OCOL from open till now pretty much was really a nice long. Ended up making a good slingshot from like 460, 470. Ended up breaking over 5 pretty effortlessly. Then from that point, ran up pretty nicely from there. So right now, taking a breather for as much as it ran up. This could be easy to say, but for as much as it ran up, well, you'd like to think the first test of a major resistance, it should look to make a bit of a head fake. And perhaps you could have expected that at 5, although it very quickly broke over that. Well, it's $6. Next whole number, major resistance. Ended up making a pop above it, but a head fake, and then it came back down pretty hard. So that's what we have to be careful of this time of the day. I mean, really collectively from like late morning until now, even. But yeah, OCUL will look to see if it could build support from this point and look to squeeze up higher. I'll definitely just put this on our list to start. All right. I don't have Bookmap open for this one trade. If you go through, I'll bring it open, or I'll bring it up here just over time. Bookmap that is, but we'll go from top to bottom now. We'll build up our watch list here. The Velon trade not looking as good now, so I'm not going to bring open Bookmap, although I have it up for it. But made a big squeeze from the pre-market into the open. Ended up popping up pretty nicely up higher afterwards, over $1. Ended up getting halted on the way up actually. Well, from that point, ended up failing to run up higher, ended up coming right back down. And really, at that stage, it's a red flag. So even though it actually had another shake around it from that point after, ended up just beginning to kind of tail off the other way. So yeah, we're done with this trade now. I mean, this might even look to fill the gap just tomorrow, all the way down towards from Friday's close. So I'd be really careful on this trade at this point. All right, so the OCUL we talked about, that's number 2 already here. So we'll kind of just skim through, see what else we can get. The CJJD trade. Try saying that 3 times fast. So, ended up making a nice little pop from the morning session. It's on really thin volume right now. Just kind of looking at the volume bars, looking at the liquidity out there on level 3, at least here. So I'm not particular about that. It's up big, and it ended up making more of a morning move than anything. So I'll write it down on the side list. I'll come back to it if I really need to. But hopefully there's better looking trades than this. Doesn't look like Tops is going to be one of those, though. That's unfortunate. Ended up just making a nice little snap back down below the VWAP price here. Took me out break even just on a trade I was in, or -1. I was in from 185. Finally took me out at 184. But I was saying that with it breaking back below the VWAP at this point, is it possible for one more run? Maybe. But I was a lot more confident of that going into this meeting than now. So, I'll write it down on the side list again. I'll come back to it if I really need to, but it's not looking good. Remember what I wrote earlier, folks, for all of us that were with us earlier this morning, myself in particular. When we first called out Tops early this morning, literally the first call out on it, I think I may have been the first to call it out from 8:30 in the morning. I'd said, nice pop on Tops. It's a very famous pop and drop stock. This was the first call out I wrote just early this morning on that trade. So that's where you got to be careful. That's where you got to be careful. Don't get stuck holding on. So yeah, I'm not a fan of this move now, just from experience. If it's not going to make that big move up, just don't get stuck holding. All right, so we keep going though in the meantime. Com is not looking nearly as good now. It was even looking pretty static going into the open. So, although it popped after 8 o'clock, it wasn't looking as good after. FSLY had a good day today. Nice little break above the highs on the daily chart from the end of January, early this month, and it's saying that ran up really well here on the intraday. From 11, basically running straight all the way up towards 13. So, it's tradable. Definitely trading good volume, has good liquidity. I just feel like most of this move at this point is done now, especially after the shake off the highs. So another side of the stock. I'll come back to it if I need to. We only have one on our main list here, the OCUL. All right, just kind of skimming across the gainer side here, just kind of cleaning up. HILS looks really flat, but it's still making higher lows, moving up towards the high there, and perhaps the break above two. Just it's so slow though. Again, it's not really like too tempting. It could really go back to what I had mentioned earlier this morning when I tagged in for Fausto in the morning meeting. For all of us inside the live trading room, if you missed out on that, quick reminder, you can go right to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/cybertradingu. All of our meetings are recorded, posted on our YouTube feed. Now, saying that, I was saying for the most part that with the CPI report to come out tomorrow morning, there could be a great amount of hesitation before that. Granted, markets pushed up nicely today in the morning. They've gone flat since. And otherwise, like we're looking at a bunch of different trades on the gainer side. It's a whole bunch of nothing. Nothing really in particular to write home about. XPON from earlier, I think I'm still in this trade actually, right from 360 because it didn't take me out break even yet. But I wasted a good profit on this trade. I thought there was going to be a lot more left of this one. There could be. It's still holding over the VWAP, but it's been dragging down across the afternoon. I let a good one get away from me here. I could have locked up 30, 35 cents on it, but ended up topping off, and I wanted more. Got greedy. Now at this point, again, I'll come back to it if I need to. We're gonna do like a whole second serving here. I feel like, folks. Geez, like everything on the side list right now. Here's a good looker though. GOTU. Now it's not trading like oh my god, it's only trading 1,500 shares a minute. That's it. That's next to nothing compared to anything else you'd want to follow. It's got the best chart so far. It's got a liquid order book, so all of that I fancy, but I'll put it on our main list. It's got a good chart. Hopefully, a lot more people start trading the stock soon enough. For a stock that normally trades about like 7.5+ million shares on average a day, it's only trading 4 million right now. That's kind of weak. So, hopefully there could be a lot more left to this trade at least. It's certainly not over traded. TWOU, pass on that. Silo, same thing. Ape, okay. All right, got a little gap fill here too on Ape from Thursday of last week into Friday. Gap down, and now it's trying to fill that gap from Friday's high now upwards. So, Ape is an AMC dividend stock, like dividend-based stock. So it's actually pretty interesting how this is up a lot more compared to regular AMC. But yeah, I'll put this on our main list. Looks pretty good. Gonna check the close price and the low back from Thursday. 265 the low, the close 272. I'd focus on that 272 price, 270, 272. All right, let's see what else we got here in the meantime, though. Got Stitch Fix, Cold. Oh, that's the CJJD trade. I didn't mean to click on this actually. This is one of the ones I have on our side list for right now. But since I've been talking, it's been squeezing back up a bit. I'm really not a fan of the order book, how illiquid it is, but it's still pushing up. I'll promote this. I'll put this on our main list. I meant to click on the cold trade, KOLD. My scanners refreshed on me here, just like they did there. But yeah, I mean, right now, gold pretty expensive. It's not really moving well at all right now in the intraday. All right, so I don't know how much you'll find on the loser side right now. Market's dragging down a little bit, but unless there's like a name brand down big, this FREQ trade, we killed it on earlier today. May not look it, but I mean, we did really well in this trade from 75 cents upwards to like almost a dollar. Ended up getting 17 cents on it, though. It was a pretty good trade altogether. So, dropped off like from like 95 cents. We normally don't trade these cheapy dollar stocks and below, but when something like this is down like 80+% on the pre-market, you got to give it a follow just in case if there's like a bit of a dead cat bounce, a bit of a short squeeze here. So we wanted a lot more, but from where we had initially called it out from 75 cents, led to a good trade. We'll take it. GTHX. I wanted a lot more on this one at least. Just had a tough time breaking over that 350 we had talked about in the morning meeting. Even from here after the market opened up, I was more focused on FREQ here, but ended up making a head fake, pop and drop. From there, ended up holding really well under the level even into the afternoon. So at this point now, could it be a good short? It could be. I mean, liquid order book trending downward now at this point from that 350 down to the VWAP. Nice iceberg order on the ask too, pinning it down there. All right, you know what? I kind of sold myself into putting this on our main list. How about that? It's actually could be a pretty decent short. It's got to break back below the VWAP. It's got to hold under the VWAP, and likely if it shouldn't do that, we can get the better leg down, the better drop off from here. All right, what else we got here though in the meantime? I mean, there's not much else that looks good, not much else that looks easy to borrow. I'm not going to look for a dead cat bounce really much elsewhere there. I will tell you, there's not much else that looks too good, too tempting from the loser side. That's not laziness speaking, folks. That's just experience, just kind of taking a look here. The only thing I'd even bother looking at is the AI, but it's hard to borrow on my platform. If you could short AI, should it break below that 21 level, that could be a good setup. But right now, I like what else we got so far. A little bit more. I'm only working off one monitor here right now, so I got my trading room chat all like jumbled up. Give me a quick second here. Ryan saying oil prices went up in January, so the CPI report may drag the market down tomorrow. We'll see what comes tomorrow at 8:30 Eastern time. I would be shocked if we get any pullback at all. Wait, that came out wrong. I wouldn't be shocked if we got a big pullback. There we go. It's been a lot of talk today, as you can tell. I don't really have much else for the trading room, at least. Anywhere else on YouTube from Dan asking about that CJGT trade. There we go. Uh, all right, let's go through the remaining sideless stocks here for the meantime. We had the XPON trade still like kind of holding over the VWAP, moving back up towards that 375. I'm a fan of the daily chart on this, looking just at it like topping up a little bit higher towards that 4 level from mid-January. It's been holding under it from Friday last week, and then today. So should this begin to build up more from here, it still could be in a good position. So I'm going to stick this on our main list here, just at the bottom. I'm not going to be like that for every sideless stock here coming up. Certainly not for HILS just yet. If it ends up breaking a little bit higher after Rich jumps on the mic at 3 o'clock, that's a different story. FSLY is going nowhere. Pass on that. And then top is not going anywhere here either. Out of the remaining sideless stocks, HILS would be the one, but otherwise we got the OCUL, we got GOTU, we got the Ape Trade, CJJD, try saying that 3 times fast, GTHX, and then the XPON. All right, folks, going once, going twice, going 3 times. I think that we're going to close out here for right now. I want to make sure all of our students and myself have enough time to prep and get ready for class coming up here, the Phase 1 stock course continuing, lesson number 2 for the month of February. Technically, just for all of us kind of keep it track numerically on our website, numerically class number 5. Number 6, sorry, number 6. So we're going to be talking about working with the trend. The trend is your friend. And just, I mean, again, more basic principle guidelines when it comes to charts. But here with trends, there's a couple of rules that we want to break down when it comes to day trading, making sure that you know when it's more likely to see a stock pull back, when it's more likely to see a stock look to run up. Not just based off trendline breaks, but based off trendline accelerations. So there's a lot to talk about there. I look forward to it. For all of us on social media, if you're interested in joining our live trading room, just go right down to the link on the green banner below the stream right there to get yourself set up, to get yourself started. Any questions before joining our live trading room, just feel free to shoot me a quick email. Josh at cttrading.com. I'm going to make sure I pull up on water before we begin. Got it. All right, folks. I look forward to it. I look forward to seeing all of us coming up in the Phase 1 stock course class. Take care.